This is the weekly sales meeting for April 6, 2025. My name is Chris Fleming. You can reach me at chris@cdmediaconsulting.com or go to our website at cdmediaconsulting.com. Today's topic, failure is part of your success. In the spring of 1961, the ABC television network debuted a brand new program. It would usher in a worldview of sporting competition. Legendary sports journalist Jim McKay will become a household name by the mid-70s. If for nothing else, it is the iconic tagline of the program. Who can forget the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat? This phrase and the video montage that accompanied it is etched into the memory of all who tuned in each week. That visual of Slovenian ski jumper Vinko Bogataj's dramatic crash. The footage was from 1970 but lives in infamy. It also frames our view of failure. In our world vision, failure is catastrophic. But this is not always the case, so we shouldn't live in fear of it. Failure is often viewed as a negative experience. In our culture obsessed with winning, we try to avoid failures at all costs. Yet history and research show that failure is a necessary step on the journey to success. From the lessons it teaches to the resilience it creates, failure plays a big role in helping us grow. It is a mere stepping stone in the path to success. As Thomas Edison said, "I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This is the transformative power of failure. One of the most valuable aspects of failure is the opportunity to learn. When we fail, we are forced to examine what went wrong, if we have the courage to do so. Investigating what went wrong can point out areas for improvement. This introspection leads to insights that would have been impossible to gain otherwise. Research from the Journal of Experimental Psychology reveals such findings. There, we learn that sellers who reflect on their failures are more likely to succeed, that is, if they choose to press on and move forward. Consider the story of Michael Jordan. He is regarded as one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Jordan said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." This on-court failure created more opportunities to refine his skills. It is how he strengthened his will to win. This is how he achieved his GOAT status. This wasn't only because he showed up, it was because he went to work. He worked on his weaknesses and got better at his strengths. Failure also helps build resilience. This is the ability to recover from any setback, and it is the ability to recover quickly. Resilience is one of the best traits for sellers. It is how we can succeed despite challenges. It is how we can overcome the obstacles that are placed in our path. Research from the American Psychological Association highlights such a play. Here we discover that sellers who experience moderate levels of failure are more likely to develop resilience. That is, when compared to those who experience either no failure or extreme failure. This is the sweet spot of failure. It is experienced almost daily by those who keep moving forward. It is how we develop the mental toughness needed to tackle the future, and it happens one step at a time. Failure can also be a catalyst for innovation. When people take risks and fail, they often discover something new. Silicon Valley is the hub of technological innovation. There, they embrace failure as part of the culture. The mantra is fail fast, fail often. This reflects the belief that failure is a stepping stone to innovation. It is only through this failure that we get to progress. The Harvard Business Review reveals this trait is common to innovative companies. Those who encourage experimentation are likely to develop innovative products. Those who tolerate failure are more likely to have better services. Consider the invention of the Post-it note. Spencer Silver was a scientist at the 3M company in the 1960s. He was attempting to create a new strong adhesive, but his new concoctions did not live up to the theory. He ended up creating a weak one. This low-tack, reusable adhesive now lacked an immediate application. Fast forward to the year 1974. Colleague Art Fry saw potential in this shelved product when he needed a bookmark that wouldn't fall out of his church hymnal. So 3M refined the product. It was launched as Press and Peel in 1977. The product was later renamed Post-it Notes in 1980. It is now a global office staple, revolutionizing note-taking and organization. In 2025, Post-it Notes are synonymous with quick, removable reminders. They are used in homes, offices, and creative brainstorming worldwide. It is the brand name for the product category. Part of embracing failure involves redefining what it means. Instead of viewing failure as the opposite of success, it can be seen as a stepping stone. As Winston Churchill said, success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. This shift allows sellers to approach challenges with greater confidence. There is a lesser fear of making mistakes. Managers need to embrace this experimentation also. While selling is scientific, it is not an exact science. We need to leave room and time for each team member to find their sweet spot. And some will arrive there after many failures. Applaud the effort in the attempt. Encourage the effort. Don't scold them for falling flat. Help your sellers get up when they have been knocked down. Give them a positive nudge forward. Empirical data supports this idea. A study conducted by Northwestern University analyzed the career of scientists. It looked at the successful and the average. Those who experienced early failure were more likely to achieve significant breakthroughs, even if that comes later in their careers. That is when compared to those who only experienced early success. The researchers concluded that failure provided the grit and determination needed to excel. The other discovery is that those who did fail did so in a supportive environment. Often, we don't have the time or the bandwidth to allow our people the room to grow. Failure is an essential part of the learning process. Education studies have proven this. Students who are allowed to struggle and fail are more likely to develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills. That is when compared to those who succeed on the first try. Often doing it wrong is a step in the direction of doing it right. And it is 10 times better than doing nothing. Because if you stand where you are, you may be planted there. Remember, you are not a tree. History is filled with examples of individuals who turned failure into success. Albert Einstein faced significant challenges early in life. He struggled academically. He was labeled slow by his teachers. These setbacks did not define his future. Instead of giving up, Einstein used curiosity and determination to push the boundaries of science. His perseverance led him to develop groundbreaking theories that revolutionized physics. This included the theory of relativity. These contributions earned him global recognition and that Nobel Prize that sat on his shelf. This proves that early failures do not dictate final outcomes. Einstein's journey shows how resilience drives achievement, and a lifelong commitment to learning can turn setbacks into extraordinary discoveries. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first television job. She was told she wasn't a fit for TV. Instead of letting this failure discourage her, she used it as motivation to prove her doubters wrong. Oprah's resilience and determination led her to refine her skills. She worked to find her true voice in broadcasting. Over time, she built an unparalleled career. She became a media mogul and one of the most influential figures in the world. Like with Oprah, one's failure can serve as a catalyst for growth and transformation. Her story is but one example of how perseverance and self-belief can turn rejection into success. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking creativity. Despite this harsh critique, Disney remained determined to pursue his vision. He encountered many business failures, but each taught him valuable lessons. These lessons were applied to his future business endeavors. Disney eventually created an entertainment empire that became a global icon. Steve Jobs faced a major setback when he was ousted from Apple. This was the very company he co-founded. Instead of letting his failure define him, he used it as an opportunity to reinvent himself. He founded NEXT and acquired Pixar. These ventures honed his skills and broadened his vision. These experiences prepared him to return to Apple. He transformed the company into one of the most successful and innovative brands. One of the biggest barriers to embracing failure is the fear of it. This fear can paralyze us. It prevents us from taking risks or pursuing lofty goals. Overcoming this fear requires a shift in mindset and a willingness to step out of your comfort zone. As Eleanor Roosevelt once said, you gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You are able to say to yourself, I lived through this horror, I can take the next thing that comes along. Facing failure head-on helps you build courage. It is that courage you need to achieve much more. To harness the benefits of failure, start by setting realistic goals. Breaking large goals into smaller, manageable steps helps reduce the fear of failure. It makes any kind of setback less overwhelming. Each small success builds confidence. It provides an opportunity to learn and improve. Reflecting on failures is another essential strategy. Notice the term is reflecting. It is not dwell. Taking time to analyze what went wrong, identify what lessons you learned. This way, you can incorporate these lessons and adjust your approach. This process transforms mistakes into valuable learning experiences. This is the framework for growth, both personal and professional. Seek feedback from a trusted advisor or mentor. Be sure it is from someone who has walked a similar path on a similar road. Taking advice from Michael Jordan on taking the last shot would be appropriate, maybe not so much when it comes to cold calling. Constructive input from peers, mentors, and colleagues can offer a fresh perspective. Celebrating effort rather than focusing solely on outcomes encourages persistence. This is a way to remove the stigma associated with failure. It is not that we don't want the outcomes. We do. But it is getting your actions in step with your desires that will lead to these outcomes. That is, if you don't get in your own way. Failure is not a roadblock. It is a building block. It teaches invaluable lessons. It drives growth. Let me say that again. Failure drives growth. As Henry Ford said, failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. The key to using failure as the building block it is meant to be is not to make the same mistake twice. I tell my teams that failure is encouraged as long as it is not the final destination. The first mistake is on me. I did not provide enough training or background to help you succeed. Yet, once we have discussed and dissected it, the second mistake is on you, and then we are going to have a very different conversation. My new book, 21st Century Sales Success, is now available on Amazon.com. If you like what you have heard here today, please consider ordering a copy or two. You can always send one to a friend. Go to cdmediaconsulting.com right now and follow the instructions to order.